What's going on, y'all? Welcome to Misplayed Magic, the only Magic the Gathering channel doing giveaways based on how I draft. You'll see on the screen here, if I get 0 wins in this draft, I'll be giving away a collector booster pack. All the way down to 7 wins, I'll be giving away a draft. All you have to do is like the video, subscribe to the channel, and leave a comment down below. What did you like? What should I maybe have done differently? And we'll jump in here to the draft. Alright, jumping into this first pack, let's see what we're going to open. So our rare is actually one of the best in this set. It's in Teamer. Roar of the Endless Song allows you to create a 5/5 green elephant creature token, and then you get to double the power and toughness of each creature you control until end of turn at its kind of third step there. Other things I like in the pack, I think Rally the Monastery has been a really strong, especially in Jeskai decks, as both a cheap removal spell, and then just has a ton of different modes there that are nice. Dragon's Prey is a decently good removal spell, but I think here we kind of owe it to ourselves to take Roar the Endless Song. I don't know if we're going to force playing Teamer. I definitely think it's Teamer and Sultai are the strongest of the two clans, but we're going to take it here. We're going to try it out, and hopefully we can, get enough cards to support it. There's another fantastic rare in this set, in Sirach Elusive Hunter. It can't be countered, and whenever a creature I control becomes the target of a spell or an ability, I get to draw a card. So a really, really strong 3-drop here. I wonder if they had another rare in the pack that they took. But we are pretty much going to snap pick that, which would be a really strong Teamer start. Other considerations, we could take Molten Exhale as a really solid removal spell. I'm definitely kind of 50-50 between the two, but I think Sirach is fun enough to where we want to pick that there. And then we'll kind of prioritize removal spells later on. Other than that, I'm not a huge fan of the Formation Breaker or the Aegis Sculptor. The Ice Root Serpent is alright, but we're going to take the other rare here and hopefully continue on this Teamer dream. Alright, here we've got a couple of considerations. The Dragonologist is good. It's good at finding instants or sorceries or dragons. We'll see how many dragons we end up getting. We could also take a Formation Breaker. I don't know how many counters we're going to be going for. I also do like the Sagu Wilding, a good amount, just some good land fixing, and then kind of a decently good dragon as well. I also do like the Globe. I think we'll probably be able to pick up 1 or 2 later. So here we're just going to take the Wilding, continue in with green, and really get some land fixing there as well. Here, the Nomad Outpost is probably not what we're looking for in terms of fixing. I don't quite know what our second color is going to be yet, so we could just stick to green and take the Sultai Devotee as a 2-drop that filters for an island when we pay mana, or we could take the Dirger Island Dragon and move into kind of a blue-green shell with maybe a red splash for Roar of the Endless Song. I think we're going to start by taking the Sultai Devotee. I think I'm going to be really interested in having enough 2s, and just getting that little bit of flexibility to casting blue spells seems good. I'm not positive that this is strong enough to move us into blue in and of itself. So here we could continue with the land fixing and take the Roamer's Routine. It does look like Teamer, or green at least, is being a little bit cut off from us. So I think here we might go with the Gold Keeper. I think it would be a decent pickup, especially if we do end up being in blue and green. Or we could go with the land here. I say the land, the Land Fetcher. I'm going to go with the Land Fetcher and just stay as open as possible. And we'll see what else we can pick up here. Okay, so here we could take the Kin Tree Severance, but we'd probably be paying 5 to cast it. We also could take the Rain Veil Rejuvenator, which would be decently good as well. We could also take another Sultai Devotee, or we can take the Evolving Wilds here. Here I am going to take the Evolving Wilds. I think just having access to as much fixing as possible is great. I don't feel like we're passing too much value in the Temur Devotee, the Rainville Rejuvenator, or the Sultai Devotee. Maybe I should consider the Temur Devotee. I'm going to go with the Evolving Wilds. I could be wrong, but we're going to try it. I'm not sure blue's going to be our second color after all. So here, I'm going to continue just taking decently good green cards. We're going to take the Champion of Doosan here. Rite of Renewal is good if we end up being in more of a Sultai deck. We could also take Urini's Rebuff. I think that's more controlling than we want to be. But maybe that is where we want to be. I'm going to take Champion of Doosan. This is maybe a sign that blue is slightly open. Alright. So we could take another Sultai Devotee here. We could take an Undergrowth Leopard, which is just fine. Or we could take the Jungle Hollow and potentially splash black later on in the draft. Or we could take a Riverwalk Technique if we want to move more into blue. Here I am just going to take the Sultai Devotee. I think we're more than happy playing a couple of those. And it does look like maybe Abzan specifically is more open with the Purging Stormbrood Wheeling. But we're going to take Urini's Rebuff here. I think there's a chance we end up playing it. Here between the Snakeskin Veil, the Dismal Backwater, and the Embermouth Sentinel. I think that we're going to take the Dismal Backwater, just in the potential that we will splash. Here we will definitely take a Dragonstorm Globe, just making ourselves as open as we can in this last pack to just kind of take whatever cards we want. We'll take a Blossoming Sands. I don't think we're going to play it, but in the off chance that we do, here we'll take a Worthy Cost. So green did look to get a little bit cut off in that pack. We'll see how aggressively we want to pursue, forcing green. But I think we have enough to make it worth it. Here, the Dragonfire Blade looks really fun to me. We don't have really many multicolor cards, but this is a really good job of evading removal. I think there's a especially large amount of monocolored removal in this set, just in comparison with the multicolor removal spells. We also could just take the Molten Exhale. I didn't think red seemed particularly open either. So we're going to take the Dragonfire Blade. We're going to keep it open. Still not really sure what our second color is going to be. But I think worst case, we don't mind playing that card. Alright, here we could take the Static Snare as a solid removal spell. Out of green, it looks like Sarkhan's Resolve. I actually like this card a decent amount. It's a combat trick when you need it to be. It can also get rid of any dragon. Other considerations, we could take Lion Weight. I'm not sure how aggressively we want to be in the Sultai colors. We could also take the Sibsig Appraiser and move into sort of a blue-green base where we're splashing red. I think here I'm going to take Sarkhan's Resolve. I think it's a decently good interactive spell. And we're going to continue to pause on picking our second color. Alright, here Rainveil Rejuvenator would be decently good. Just in terms of some ramp, we could take another Sarkhan's Resolve. We could also take another Sultai Devotee. Or we could start moving into a blue or a red direction. I don't really think we want to be moving into black. It does look like black is moderately open. Here we're just going to take another Sultai Devotee. I don't mind having a lot of 2-drops that are 2/1 Death Touchers. Here we're either between the Attuned Hunter or the Champion of Doosan. We don't have a ton of Harmonize. But we could definitely take the Attuned Hunter with an eye for more Harmonize or Renew effects. We also could take another Champion of Doosan here or the Temur Devotee. But I think we're just going to take the Attuned Hunter and see where that takes us. All right, so Dragon Sniper being here late is definitely a good sign. I think we're just going to take that here. Spectral Denial is also pretty solid. Champion Doosan, I don't mind at all. But we're going to take the Dragon Sniper here. Here we're going to slam the Piercing Exhale. I think it's a really strong removal spell. It also goes really well with our 3 Sultai Devotees and our Dragon Sniper of just doing death touch damage to another creature. And I think now is when we're going to have to kind of plant our flag somewhere else. I don't think Heritage Reclamation is really quite good enough. I think that Caustic Exhale being here means that black is going to be relatively open. I'm not a huge fan of the Kish the Trawlers or with the land here. So we're going to take this removal spell speculatively that we might move into black at least a little bit. Moving on here, we're just going to continue taking good green cards. I know the Sipsig Appraiser wheeling probably means that blue is open, but I think in Spirited Vanguard we're playing, in most of our decks, we want a little bit more of a top end of a curve here. So we're going to take that. Noticing Sipsig Appraiser around might mean that blue is somewhat open as well. Wow, so that's a really late Disruptive Stormbrood, which I think is really strong. It's either that or the Urani's Rebuff. We're going to take the Stormbrood here and possibly be splashing for some black cards here. Here we'll take a Dragon's Prey. We might start moving into a black-green type of deck. Here we'll take the Rainveil Rejuvenator. I'm not positive we're going to play that. But we do have a couple of decently good black removal spells here, in addition to the Petty Revenge side of the Disruptive Stormbrood. We'll take a Temur Devotee. I don't know if we're going to end up playing that. And let's see what we get in this last pack here. We will take a land. And moving into this last pack, our rare is the Lacid Prowler. When it enters, you can mill cards equal to the number of lands you control, and then exile it and put 1/1 counters on target creature, where that's the amount of lands you control. That is a pretty strong card, and it is also in green. So I do think we're going to take it here. I want to just look at our layout super quickly. So out of this last pack, we really want to take some more cheaper creatures. Our 3s are relatively covered. Our 4s and 5s are pretty covered. We are going to take the Lacid Prowler here. Here we've got the Eerie Ultimatum. Return any number of permanent cards with different names from your graveyard to the battlefield. We just don't have the fixing to make that work this late in the draft. Here we could go with the Temur Land, or we could take the Kentree Severance, or if we wanted to move more black, we go with the Abzan Devotee. I think we're just going to take the Tri-Land here. I do still think we want to play War of the Endless Song. That'll just make that spell infinitely easier to cast. And we're giving it maybe a Dragonstorm Globe or a Disseated Earth Carver. So we're going to take the Tri-Land here. And then here, I don't know that we necessarily want to be in green-blue. Blue as the base. I'm not a huge fan of the Ice Climber or the Agent of Kodos, or really the Aurora Procession for that matter. Worthy cost, I feel like there's less to sacrifice in this set than other sets that's worth it. So I'm between the Roamer's Routine and the Sagu Pummeler here. I'm going to take the Pummeler. I'm not a huge fan of that card, but it is decent enough. Here I'm between either the Jungle Hollow is going to just be solid fixing. I do think we're going to end up splashing a lot of these black spells. We could also take the Nomad Outpost. It actually doesn't do much for us. Or we could take the Anok Wayfarer. I'm going to take the Jungle Hollow in hopes that another 2 will come around. Here I'm going to take another Dragon Sniper. I think we're happy playing as many of those in our deck as we can. Here it's between either the Inspirited Vanguard or a Snakeskin Veil. I think the goal is to play another Vanguard. Yeah, and here we're just kind of running out of... I definitely think other people are in green. We fought him as well as we could have. We have a bajillion green cards. We're going to take another Urini's rebuff here. I don't know if we're going to play it. I think we're going to end up swapping in black removal spells there. Here we'll take a Caustic Exhale. Thinking about Dragonstone Globe, but I don't think we need it. We'll put the Exhale in, and the Dragon's Prey in as well. Here, I'm not a huge fan of the Kumar Initiate. Coming into this set, I thought it was going to be a little bit stronger than it has been. I think we're just going to take a Gormog Nightwatch. I don't think we're going to play it, but there's a chance that we do. Here we will take another Dragonstorm Globe. We also could take another Dismal Backwater. We also could take an Abzan Devotee to do some fixing. But I think we're just going to take the Globe here. Here we'll take a Kiro Goldkeeper. We might actually end up playing that. Now, just looking at our curve, I think we're going to take a Kintree Nurturer here. We'll take Whale of War. I don't think we're going to play it. But black definitely was, I think, a color that was getting passed a lot in this draft. So I'm going to hop into the edits here. I'll kind of save you all the time, and then I'll explain kind of the choices I made to get the deck where it needs to go. Alright, so here's what the final deck is going to look like. I took out the Dragon Blade, some of the blue cards, and I took out the Dragon as well. We just didn't have that many, multicolor cards to go with the Dragon Blade. And then the Goldkeeper I think is fine. I just didn't think it was doing too much in our deck. So this is what we're going to go with. It's a pretty stompy green curve with a lot of removal spells. And a decent amount of fixing. So we'll see how it goes. Jumping into game one here. Our opponent goes first, but I definitely think we keep this. We've got a pretty decent curve out here. And enough of our colors to make it work. Fortress Ken Guardian is the play from the opponent. Definitely does make the Dragon Sniper a little bit worse. We're just going to go ahead and play our Sultai Devotee and pass turn. I think we're fine taking one here. So here, I don't think we are in the business of attacking. We're just going to hold on for a second. I think we ultimately want to try to hold the removal spells or something more, aggressive than the Champion of Doosan. But like here, I think we're totally fine blocking with a Dragon Sniper and just keeping the Sultai Devotee alive for the blue fixing. So here, I think us getting rid of the Pummeler makes a good amount of sense. And then we'll play out the Blasted Prowler. We will mill 4. And we're not going to be blocking with the Sultai Devotee, so I'm going to go ahead and attack as well. And we've got 2 lands in the graveyard now. So we'll play our tapped land. Then we'll play our Sultai Devotee. And then I don't think they're going to want to attack into us. So I'm just going to put a... maybe we'll leave the Caustic Exile up. If we attack with the Prowler, maybe we will attack with the Prowler. And if they block, we can Caustic Exhale their... yeah, that's fine. Cool. So they do have another removal spell, but it looks like this is going to be a pretty aggressive attack with the Avenger of the Fallen. So we'll take 6 here. And the next turn we'll work on just stabilizing the board a little bit. Siege of the Fang is a good draw out of them. So they can't do either of those at instant speed. So I do think we're going to block like this, and like this. And the trade isn't great, but we do get some renew value off of that card, which I don't feel so bad by. Making that into a 2/2 is interesting. So I think we're most interested in, we have 2 lands in our graveyard. So if we put 2 on 1 counters, it becomes a 5/4. Yeah, I think that's what we're gonna do. And let's create another spirit so we can just have things that can block. And then next turn we can hold up a Caustic Exhale, so whatever they try to put the counters on from the Pummeler, we can kill it in response and they don't get that value. Here I think we're just going to continue making 2/2s. So I'm going to play the Avenger of the Fallen here. I do think we're interested in just killing that. And now we've got lethal. Alright, we get through game 1 cleanly. Deck felt pretty solid there. It's very stompy. Just got some removal spells, some good interaction. But I think we played that smartly. We'll jump into game 2 here. Alright, we go first here. We do have access to every color we could possibly want. We do have some removal spells and a Stormbrood. I think we keep this. It's not going to be the greatest start we've ever seen, but it's also not bad. I do think we're interested in playing the Devotee here. And then next turn we can play our Frontier tapped. Hold on for a second. I'm not totally interested in using a removal spell there. Here we will just play the Pummeler, and we will attack for 2 ourselves. Mardu Devotee is good. So our opponent potentially is playing 4 colors, and they're searching for both mountains or swamps here, or they just like the Devotee in general. So here, I think we're going to play the Lacid Prowler first, to act like we don't have any... It's got 3 lands in the graveyard, and then we're going to attack here so it looks like we don't have any effects, but we can use a Caustic Exhale to trade with the board really nicely here. We also can just hold it up. It's totally fine. Baron Step Siege is good out of our opponent. Just adding 1/1 counters to everything at the end of the turn. So I don't think we can let them get too much value off of it. So I'm going to Behold a Dragon. I think we're most interested... They can get the Devotee back, so we don't want to kill that. I think we want to kill... I meant the Abzan Devotee. I think we want to kill either the Mardu Devotee or the Fortress King Guard. I think we're going to kill the King Guard. Maybe that's wrong because of the fixing, but that's fine. Alright, here I think we're going to start by attacking. We'll see how they block. So I think it is going to be worthwhile to give us +3/+3 here. I think just being able to narrow the board down as much as possible here is going to be really advantageous. And then we can play the Roar of the Endless Song next turn while continuing to do damage. Skirmish Rhino is pretty good. So I think we are just going to play the Roar of the Endless Song here. And then if they want to trade with us, I want to give them the option to trade with us. Because I think we're more than happy doing so. With the Skirmish Rhino in particular. That is also fine. So they are going to go wide here. We are just going to play the Sniper and then the Stormbrood, and get rid of the enchantment. And now this gives us a pretty solidly sized attack next turn, depending on what they play. They are also going to go wide here. So if we are doubling, they've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 blockers. I think we want to attack. Alright, so here's how we're attacking. Alright, so we will do 10 like that. We'll take out the Skirmish Rhino and deal 6. And pass turn. So we have got lethal as it stands. Good game. Alright, sequencing wasn't perfect there, but we did end up getting it done. I probably should have played the Stormbrood earlier and gotten rid of the enchantment a turn sooner, but it worked out. It all worked out, so I can't complain. We go first, but we cannot do much here besides wait. I think we have to mulligan. I certainly like this setup better. And I think we're going to put the exhale back for now. Just giving ourselves our best chance to curve out here. We also can filter a swamp for a forest here and play the Prowler as well. Opponent has a fleeting effigy. I don't think we want to trade right now. We will play the Sultai Devotee and attack. And a tapped land. Alright, so there's our third land, which is good. Now we can play the Prowler and then hopefully eventually play the Roar of the Endless Song here. So our opponent is going a little bit more aggressively slanted. I think we are going to trade with the Duelist here. And then next turn, hopefully slow our opponent down. So we did draw our Mountain, which is fantastic. So now we can go Roar of Endless Song and start attacking a little bit more aggressively. Looks like we got one land in the graveyard, which is not fantastic. We milled a lot of cards we wouldn't have mind drawing, but that's okay. Looks like they're eyeing the Prowler for a, removal spell. And then next turn we're just going to play Roar of Endless Song and hope that it sticks enough. And we will continue to attack as well. Now they can, if they kill the elephant, they can keep kind of attacking with the Fleeting Effigy. But hopefully we slowed them down at least a little bit here. So they got a Reigning Victor and a Swamp. Maybe they were looking for a land. Stock Brigade is fine. Here we're going to play our Sultai Devotee. And then we are just going to attack with one of our elephants here. We can get a little bit more aggressive with our Piercing Exhale before our next turn. Otherwise, we'll have a pretty huge attack here. This card is awesome. I haven't gotten to play with it yet. It's pretty fun. It's doing a lot of work for us here. I don't think they're going to attack here. It would be super aggressive. I would assume they'll just pass. Maybe they have a removal spell. Alright, and they concede. We take that. I don't know how they were going to get out of that. It would have been tough. We also had a removal spell in hand, which they did not know. But we'll take that. So we move to 3-0 so far. Hopefully we can keep drawing our good cards and our lands. Moving into game 4 here. Alright, our opponent is going first. This is definitely on the slower side. We do have a Globe, which would kind of unlock our hand. And we could Caustic Exhale. I think we can do better than this. I think we're gonna mulligan. This does look better. I think we're gonna put the globe back and then call out a swamp with this land. That way we will have access to all of our colors as long as we can keep a Sultai Devotee alive. Let's think. Maybe we should wait. I think I'm going to do that. I think I'm going to play the Wildling first. Go get a swamp. And then now we can get an island with the Evolving Wind. So even if the Sultai Devotee dies, we still have got all of our colors here. Enoch Wayfarer is a play from the opponent. They got a good amount of value there. We are just going to play out the Devotee. I don't think we're super interested in trading here. Alright, so they played a tapped land. They now have access. I guess they had access to all their colors. We're going to continue just playing out different land sources. I'm going to go and attack first. If they want to use a removal spell on the Devotee, they certainly can. And then I do think we're interested in getting a little bit more aggressive and playing the Champion of Doosan here. And they kill it on our turn. Looks like they're splashing blue as well. I do think we want to just continue with playing cards on curve, so we're going to play the Rejuvenator here. Next turn we'll have access to a lot more mana to try to build a more established board, but we are going to take that action. So we have 2 lands in our graveyard. Should it matter? And I do think just holding on to removal spells as much as we possibly can is going to be in our best interest here. We'll take 4. So here I am going to go get our island. And then I think we're just going to play the Dragonstone Globe and pass. We are going to attack with the Devotee. But now we can either Dragon's Prey or Sarkhan's Resolve the Enoch Wayfarer with a combat trick here. I think we do need to, sadly. Doesn't feel great, but sure. I did not have them playing that card. Maybe I should have done it during my turn. But it is good to get that card out of the way there. Let's do this. Let's Attuned Hunter. Let's put a counter on it. So it becomes a 5/5. We'll attack and offer a trade. Maybe we shouldn't be attacking. I'm just not going to attack. I don't think they're going to be attacking here. Alright, so hopefully we held them off a little bit. That is a crazy, crazy draw. I think we just play it. Yep. Crazy draw. And then we'll keep up our Sarkhan's Resolve as well. Abzan Monument is good. We'll see if they crack it here to just make a 4/4, which they will. So we're just going to continue making dinosaurs and putting bodies out there. I said dinosaurs, continue making elephants. And I don't think we want to attack. What we can do next turn if we want to is we can give the Attuned Hunter +3/+3 until end of turn before the effect, which is kind of psychotic, but I think we actually might do it. Okay, so I did not stop it correctly, but that's fine. So I think we do want to attack with the 10/10s for sure. Do we want to attack with the 4/2s? I don't think so. So this is the only blocks that they're making. I think we are okay with that. So maybe should have taken the Fanekeeper out before combat. But I think this is fine. They take 10. And we'll end there. So we are going to fire this off. Which, maybe it's good they wasted a resource there, but I think potentially getting with 10 would have been a little bit stronger there. And I don't think they're going to attack us. So we are going to attack with the 3 on the right, leaving up a potential +3/+3 to any of those. So if they double block with like 2 4/4s, it doesn't feel great. So the question is, do we go for the win? Or do we do the safer thing here? I think we have to go for the win. If they can kill it, this feels terrible. But we gotta try. We gotta at least try. And we get there! Let's go! That's hype. Alright. I guess either way they would have been killing it, so we have to go for the win. That's huge. Alright, so the deck is, we are drawing our cards in a good order right now. I'll just leave it at that. We are 4-0 heading into Game 5. Alright, our opponent goes first here. I do think we keep this. We've got enough to do. I'm going to start by playing that land. And then we will play our devotee here. We'll see how aggressive our opponent gets. They're going to get a decent attack in here. But I don't think it's worth it to Caustic Exhale that right now. We'll take 2. Here we will play our tapped Frontier. So we'll be taking 4 if we take all of it. Yeah, I do think we're going to have to... Maybe we have to do it against on the Storm Singer. Yeah, I think we have to. So we're going to take 4, 5. That's fine. Hopefully our Sagu Pummeler will hold at least for a second here. And I do think we want to play that first. And I do think we also would block with this Sultai Devotee here. We've got enough access to our colors as it stands. That is not great. We'll take 3. Alright, our opponent is doing the thing. We'll play Sirach here. And I guess we'll go get a... Either an island or a mountain. I'm actually going to get a swamp. Alright, so we'll take 3 more here at least. And that's not going to do much for us. I don't think that it's worth it to use this right now. We'll take 3 more here. So now we just need to draw any creature or removal spell to slow this down as much as we can. Or of the Endless Song would also be so cool. Dragon Sniper is actually a pretty decent draw. So I'm going to do this. And then we're going to do this. If they have a removal spell, okay, they don't. And hopefully this will hold them for a second. We'll see. And we're dead. I think we're just dead. So we'd have to double block. If we do this, we'll take 5. If we do this, we'll take 4. Ugh. It's not great. There's pretty much no way out of this, actually. See if he wants to trade with us. Yeah. Sarkhan's Resolve I've been a little bit underwhelmed with so far. We just die here. Alright. That was tough. We just couldn't quite stabilize enough to get 2 creatures out there. Our opponent gets us there. Here, I actually don't mind this hand at all. We do get to go first. So I'm thinking I would rather trade a Dragon Sniper than a Devotee here. We'll see what they do. They might just make a 1/1. And we will play out a Sultai Devotee. I don't think we're interested in getting another land. I think we're more so just interested in potentially playing this on 5. We are not going to block. Opponent potentially digging for a land there. And then we will... I do think we're fairly interested in playing this next turn, which means maybe we should go fetch a land here. Let's do that, and we'll leave up Dragon's Prey. And we will go get a island. And then we will end our turn. I might have overlooked the they do have a creature, so they get their Rebellious Strike back. Overlooked the Beholding effect here, but I think it's fine. So here we are just going to play out. I think we are going to make it a 5/4. If they can remove it, we'll miss out on some value there, but I think just having a bigger body is going to be good here. Here I do think we're okay blocking. And we are just going to hold all of this removal. I think if they had a hard removal spell, they probably would have cast it. We'll continue to take 1. I do think we're going to Piercing Exhale this. I think Dragon's Prey just has a little bit more flexibility as a removal spell, and we'll continue to hold. I do think we're just going to play this out. It'll make our Caustic Exhale cheaper as well. So we actually are going to block, because I kind of want him to waste this strike. Because it's going to be nice to, I believe the spell just fizzles, so they do not get to draw the card here. Yeah. Looks like they finally drew a red source. We are going to attack and just play out the Lacid Prowler here. We will mill. We hit 2 lands. But what's nice is we do get to put a trample on one of our creatures here. We'll see what our opponent does. Quarry Mountain Stalwart. into, I presume, a second spell here. To a Jeskai Brushmaster. So here I think we're interested in... I think they're gonna double block if we attack with everything. And I think us getting the trample counter here is gonna be worth it. We are going to put 2/1/1s on this creature. So I think they're going to double block the Prowler. I could be wrong. Or they could be banking on a turn where they're just going to cast a million spells and try and kill us on the swing back. So I do think killing the Brushmaster here is certainly worth it. Opponent is down to 5. Looks like as it stands, they are just dead on board. All right, we get it done. The run continues. All right, heading into game number 6 here. Our opponent is going first. There is a world where we draw an island and a mountain, and this hand is awesome. But I think this is just too slow to keep. This we will try. And I think we're going to put back a sniper. So we'll start by playing our tapped land, getting access to a lot of our colors here. Our opponent's got the dragon lands, very cool. And here I do really want to keep in mind that we have the dragon to get the Surveilling 2 trigger here, should there be something we want to kill with our devotee. I also really would not mind trading here if they end up attacking. We'll see if they discard a non-land here. So we'll take 3 here. Here I do think we're just going to play the globe into the sniper and again offer a trade. This makes it so we can cast the Stormbrood next turn if we want to. And it would enter with some counters on it, with a counter on it. Alright, so our opponent is very aggressively casting removal. Do we want to do that? I think we do. And then next turn we will have to kind of force our hand to use our removal spell there, but hopefully Surveilling 2 will be worth it. Or they'll just have another removal spell. Sure. Lots of removal from our opponent. And we are kind of seeing the worst case scenario here of us just being out of creatures. And we are pretty dead here. Our opponent's deck is good. They curved out really nicely. Yeah, we're super dead. Alright, quick one. Alright, heading into game 7, we are on the draw. I do definitely think this is worth keeping. We've technically got access to all of our colors in our starting hand, which is nice. So now we have Sultai Devotee into Sirach, which feels pretty good. Into the Lasted Prowler. Gormog Nightwatch is the play from the opponent. They are milling a land and a Bloodflies. So here I think we're just going to continue with our plan. We'll play a Sirach, and then next turn we can try and play a Lasted Prowler. We could also wait and just play a Champion of Doosan. I think I'm going to actually do that and play out a tap land so that next turn we'll have access to more mana. We're not going to attack. And this sets us up to block a little bit better. I'm fine trading a Doosan for either one of those. And now I think we'll actually just play a... I think we're going to start by attacking here. Again, happy trading with either of their creatures. And I think if we really want to maximize our Prowler, we should play the Devotee, and then we'll just pass. And then we can Dragon's Prey on their turn. We're going to try it. Not sure what they're sitting on over there. Could be a counterspell. But this just kind of sets us up to be able to attack pretty aggressively here. I do think we're going to start by just spreading out the targets here. And this way we can still play the Lasted Prowler. And then next turn we can play the Inspirited Vanguard. I would assume they have something here. Maybe not. Could be a Death Begets Life. Costs 8 mana, so they're a couple short there. Or maybe they're just waiting to counter something like this. I am not sure. I'm not sure what they have. We will take the action and mill 6. So we have 3 yards in the 3 lands in the graveyard, which is good. So they did have a board clear there, which is not great. I think we're just going to play the Pummeler, because if it dies, then we get some effects from it. I do think we have to just keep attacking here. And then we'll probably go wide with the Vanguard. And we will do that. And I think we're just going to end turn there. Maybe just trying to save some life there. So they'd have to, yeah, okay. All right, maybe I was playing too cautiously, but we get the job done. We get there. So we are now 6-2, playing for a trophy in the first ever video of Misplayed Magic. Could we trophy? All right, opponent goes first. I do think we keep this. We'll start with a Dragon Sniper here. Nice. We drew our third land, which is good. I don't know if we're going to play this for the sorcery or the dragon side quite yet. Definitely should have played a swamp there on accident, playing a little bit too quickly. These forests are dark, but that's okay. Yeah, definitely should have played a swamp there. That's alright though. We live and we learn. Here we will just play a Sirach. We will offer a trade. So we do get a card out of this, which is nice. I also am happy trading here. Certainly would be nicer if we had fired that off, but that is okay. So here, I do think we want to, let's think of how I want to sequence this. I think we're going to want to go get a land this turn. So I think we should start by playing this. We'll go get a land. I think we want to actually get a mountain because we got some of the dual. Yeah, let's go get a mountain. And then we will just attack like that. Looks like our opponent is playing some 5-color shenanigans, which is fun. And we're just looking for any island to unlock this would be really strong. Sultai Devotee is good. We will, I think we just want to play the Inspirited Vanguard here. We'll create a 2/2, and then I will attack. I will offer a trade. So our opponent is getting to filter their draws pretty good here. Hopefully we can draw an island. So Eshki Dragonclaw is the play from our opponent. I do think we are going to just attack here. And we're just going to create more bodies. And then we're just going to play this like here. So opponent does have the potential to have a pretty crazy turn here. So we'll resolve that first. I do think we want to save it. Yeah. I think it's worth it. Because I think we're going to take this damage regardless. So they did not have another spell to cast, which is really interesting. We'll take 8. Globe gets us really close. just going to attack. I think I should probably attack with both. And I'm going to continue going wide here. And we will end our turn there. Then next turn we'll be able to play this, which will be nice. Sure. So they cast a creature and a non-creature spell, which is good. So I think we're fine as it is. I do think we want to just play this and get a 5/5 into play. See how aggressive our opponent wants to get here. I do think it's worth it to save our elephant here. Just so that way we're building up our board as much as we possibly can. I do not think we're attacking. Okay, our opponent got a land off the top, which seems good for us. So they have 3 blockers as it stands. We don't quite... Let's go! Oh, we almost played so bad in that last game, but we get there! First ever video, we're gonna trophy. That is so exciting. Oh my gosh, so fun. Wow. So we get the job done. Really a fun deck here. Did not expect a trophy. I think we ran into a lot of advantageous scenarios with our opponents. And then Roar of the Endless Song is insane. Insane. Such a fun card. So for those of y'all who are watching, I have no subscribers right now. I have 0. So you can win a free draft. All you have to do is subscribe to the channel. Leave a comment down below. How did I do this? What did I do well? What did I do bad? And then like the video is the third thing. I'll be reaching out to one of you for steps on how to claim this free draft. It is 100% free. All I want you to do is send me the deck that you draft with. I'm hoping to pass this along and have a lot of fun. So join on. We're going to be posting videos as much as we can, doing a lot of giveaways, and I hope that you all are watching, you're enjoying, and that one of you is going to enjoy a free draft here. So thanks you all for watching, and hopefully I'll see you in the next one.